Rich people are miserable, and broke people are delusional, and nobody in the middle has any idea which one they're becoming. This video is going to make you uncomfortable, because somewhere in here, you're going to see yourself, and you might not like what you find. Here's what nobody tells you about money. It doesn't just change your bank account, it changes your brain, your identity, the way you see people, the way people see you, the things that excite you, the things that scare you. Every level of wealth is a completely different psychological universe, and most people are stuck in one, pretending they understand the others. So, we're going to walk through all of them. No filters, no motivational fluff, just the raw, honest truth about what money actually does to a person at every stage, from the guy doing math in his head at the self-checkout line, all the way to the man who hasn't looked at his bank balance in 4 years because it genuinely doesn't matter anymore. Pay attention, because the level you're at right now is shaping who you're becoming, whether you're aware of it or not. Let's go. Level 1, the $500 hope. You've got $500 in your account, maybe $800 on a good week, and every single dollar has weight. You do mental math before every swipe. You know your balance without checking. You eat late so you can eat less. You tell people you're good when someone asks, because the truth is embarrassing and pride is the last thing you've got. But here's what nobody talks about. You are alive right now in a way most people never feel again. Your back is against the wall, your senses are sharp, you're creative out of pure necessity, figuring out how to get a $300 result from a $30 investment because you have no other option. You notice every opportunity because you have to. The pain of standing still is bigger than the fear of moving. That's the superpower of the $500 level. Urgency. Pure, uncut, electric urgency. The trap is, you think money will fix everything. You think if you just had more, the anxiety would stop, the self-doubt would stop, the exhaustion would stop. So you hustle, but you hustle scared, and scared hustle almost always leads you back to zero. Here's what you actually need to understand at this level. The hunger you feel is not a curse, it's fuel. Most people with 8 figures would pay to feel this alive again. Don't waste it chasing comfort. Use it to build something. Level 2, the $10,000 cushion. You hit $10,000, maybe for the first time in your life, and something shifts, physically. Your shoulders drop, you breathe a little deeper, you stop flinching when an unexpected bill comes in, you stop doing math in your head at the gas station. This is the first taste of what financial peace feels like, and this is exactly where most people blow it. They treat $10K like they've arrived. New clothes, new apartment, weekend trips, and before 6 months are up, they're back at $500, except now they have a better wardrobe and worse options. $10K is not wealth, it's breathing room. It's the first real test of your financial character, and most people fail it quietly without ever understanding why. The people who eventually build real money, they treat $10K exactly like they treated $500, lean, focused, reinvesting, not celebrating survival, celebrating positioning. Your behavior at $10K is a preview of your behavior at $1 million. If you spend the $10K, you'll spend the $1 million too. This level doesn't reward intelligence, it rewards discipline. And discipline at this stage is the rarest thing in the world. Level 3, the $50K identity crisis. You've got $50,000 now, and something strange happens. You start to feel like a fraud. Everyone around you is either broke or rich. Nobody's middle. You're making decent money, but you don't feel wealthy. You're past survival, but you haven't arrived anywhere. You're in the gap, and the gap is uncomfortable. This is where comparison kills people. You start seeing guys on Instagram with watches that cost more than your annual salary, and you start questioning everything. You second-guess your business, your job, your choices. You feel like you're playing checkers while everyone else is playing chess. Here's what's actually happening. Your identity is shedding skin. You're no longer the broke version of yourself, but you haven't fully stepped into the next version yet, and that in-between space feels like failure, even when it's actually growth. The move at $50K? Go quiet. Stop broadcasting. Stop comparing. Start compounding, because this level isn't about showing up, it's about stacking without making noise. Level 4, the $250K confidence. $250,000. You feel it now. Something in you straightens up. You walk into rooms differently. You make decisions faster. You stop explaining yourself to people who aren't at your level. You start saying no to clients, to opportunities, to relationships that drain you. This is where discernment kicks in. At 500, you said yes to everything because you had to. At 250K, you start saying no to things that don't align because you can. And that word, no, is one of the most powerful wealth-building tools in existence. But here's the trap at this level: arrogance. You've done more than most, so you start to think you have it figured out. You stop learning, you stop listening, you start moving on ego instead of strategy. The people who stall at 250K aren't unlucky, they're comfortable, and comfort is the silent killer of potential. Level 5, the $1 million reality check. You're a millionaire, and the first thing you feel is relief, right? Except then you realize you made it to a starting line. $1 million in 2025 is not what $1 million was in 1985. It buys you security, not freedom, not legacy, not the life you imagined when you were lying in your childhood bedroom dreaming about this exact number. Here's what actually changes at 1 million. Your problems don't disappear, they upgrade. Now you're not worried about making rent. Now you're worried about taxes, investment decisions, asset protection, who's actually your friend and who's around because of what you have. The loneliness at this level is real, and almost nobody talks about it. You also start to understand that the real game isn't about getting to 1 million, it's about keeping it and growing it, and that's a completely different skill set than the one that got you here. The $1 million mindset shift: you stop thinking like a worker and start thinking like an owner. You start asking how money can work instead of how you can work. Level 6, the $5 million silence. $5 million, and the world gets quieter. Not peaceful quiet, eerie quiet. Because the emotional highs and lows of money start to flatten. You used to get a rush from a big sale, a spike of anxiety from a slow month. Now those swings barely register. You start to understand what people mean when they say money can't buy happiness. Not because you're miserable, but because you realize happiness was never on the other side of a number. You were happy or miserable long before the money changed. The money just removed excuses. At 5 million, you also start to see people differently. You spot the ones who are performing wealth versus the ones who have it. The guy in the Lamborghini might be in debt. The quiet woman in the corner in a plain suit might own the building you're standing in. This level teaches you that real wealth is invisible. Level 7, the 8-figure burden. 10 million, 20, 50. Let's talk about what nobody has the guts to say out loud. It stops feeling like money. You don't celebrate wire transfers. You don't feel wealthier when the number grows. It becomes a temperature you maintain, like your body heat. It's just there. You manage it, you monitor it, but it doesn't move you the way $500 once did. The electric certainty of the beginner, that sharp, alive, nothing to lose energy, is completely gone. And for a lot of people at this level, that loss is the hardest thing they've ever had to sit with. Because hunger was the engine, urgency was the reason to wake up and fight. And now that the fight is over, they don't know what they are without it. So here's what separates the 8-figure people who live well from the ones who slowly unravel: purpose. The ones who thrive at this level stopped playing the money game and started playing a different game entirely. They build foundations, they fund missions they actually believe in, they mentor people at the 500 level, not for clout, but because they remembered what it felt like to need someone to believe in them. They find a new mountain, because the human brain doesn't do well without one. The ones who struggle, they keep chasing the number, bigger, faster, more. Not because they need it, but because they don't know who they are without the chase. And that is a prison with marble floors and a great view. The truth. Here's what this whole climb actually teaches you if you're paying attention. The guy with $500 and a burning reason to fight is more alive than the man with 50 million and nothing left to prove. Because wealth was never about the number. The number is just the scoreboard. The real game, the one that was always happening underneath, is about who you're becoming on the way there. The discipline at 10K, the identity crisis at 50K, the discernment at 250K, the humility at 1 million, the silence at 5 million, the purpose you're forced to find at 8 figures. Every level takes something from you, and every level gives you something back. The question you need to ask yourself right now, today, at whatever level you're at, is not how do I get more money, it's who am I becoming as I build it? Because the money will fluctuate, markets crash, businesses fail, numbers go up and come back down.
But the person you forged in the process, nobody can take that, ever. If this video hit differently, if it made you see your current level in a new way, do me one favor. Share it with someone who needs to hear it right now, not later, right now. And if you want to go deeper on the psychology of building real wealth, not the surface stuff, but the mindset and mechanics that actually move the needle, subscribe and hit the bell, because the next video goes even further.
And drop in the comments, what level are you at right now, and what's the hardest part about it? I read every single one. See you in the next one.